They didn't feel the cold. That's the myth. The truth is far harsher. Viking warriors felt the cold deeply. Frostbite was common. Hypothermia was lethal. Whiteout storms erased landmarks and men alike. In the snowbound north, a warrior could vanish 10 steps from safety and never be found again. What separated Vikings from their enemies was not pain tolerance or brute toughness. It was preparation. It was environmental mastery. In winter, visibility meant survival, and being seen meant death. Long before modern camouflage theory existed, Norse warriors understood how humans appear in snow, and they built systems to disappear into it. Before we go further, if this kind of practical, no-nonsense history matters to you, take a second to like the video. Share it with someone who actually studies the past, drop a comment, and subscribe to Warfront Survival. This channel exists for real techniques, not romantic myths. Now, let's get into the reality. Snow camouflage for Vikings did not begin on the battlefield. It began in daily survival. Norse communities lived in environments where snow covered the ground for months at a time. Clothing, shelter, tools and movement were already optimized for low visibility long before war entered the picture. Wool tunics, undyed linen, pale sheepskins and reindeer hides produced muted whites, greys and dirty beiges by default. These colours weren't chosen for symbolism. Dyes were expensive, rare and impractical in winter. The result was a population already dressed in tones that broke up the human outline against snow, ice and dead grass. The lesson here is foundational. Camouflage starts with material choice, not patterns. Natural fibres in their untreated state still outperform most modern winter gear when it comes to blending into real terrain. You know, Vikings also understood something most people still get wrong today. Colour matters less than contrast. A pure white cloak against snow might seem logical at first, but it actually creates a solid, recognizable human shape. Vikings avoided uniform whiteness. Instead, their winter clothing mixed light and dark textures naturally. Fur trim, rough wool, layered hems and uneven stitching all helped disrupt the outline of the body. At a distance, or through falling snow, the silhouette just kind of dissolved into the background. For modern winter fieldcraft, the principle is pretty simple. Avoid flat white. Combine off-white, grey and muted brown layers, and, well, introduce texture wherever possible. Even something as basic as crude cloth wrapped over smooth fabric can dramatically reduce recognition. Movement discipline actually mattered more than clothing. Snow preserves mistakes. Footprints, broken crust, disturbed drifts. They all tell a story to anyone trained to read them. Vikings moved deliberately when stealth really mattered. They placed their feet where the wind had already scoured the surface, or where animal tracks existed. They avoided open powder whenever possible, and used ridge lines, frozen waterways and tree shadows where contrast was naturally lower. They understood that perfect camouflage means nothing if your movement writes your location into the landscape. The modern lesson is, well, unforgiving. If concealment matters, slow down. Move during snowfall or high wind. Follow natural lines already marked by weather or wildlife. Careless movement will betray you faster than bad gear ever could. Snow itself was a tool, not just terrain. Vikings actively manipulated it to improve concealment. Snow was banked against shields, sleds, and temporary positions to eliminate dark outlines. Cloaks and boots were dusted and packed with snow to kill shine and blend textures. Helmets were dulled with snow to eliminate reflections from iron or bronze fittings. This was not decoration. It was fieldcraft. Snow absorbs light, softens edges, and deadens sound. A shield rim, packed with snow, doesn't clink. Boots coated in snow squeak less than bare leather on ice. Even today, this technique works exactly the same way. Winter ambush tactics, relied on invisibility, patience, and insulation. Many Viking raids actually occurred during winter, not despite the snow, but because of it. Frozen rivers became highways for travel. Snow muffled sound, making it easier to move undetected. Storms, they created a sense of false security. Warriors would conceal themselves in snowbanks, among sparse tree lines, and in low ground where their clothing matched the frost-covered bark and dead vegetation. They waited motionless, sometimes for hours on end. This required a great deal of discipline and a real understanding of heat loss. Fur padding was placed between the body and the ground, and weight was shifted subtly to maintain circulation without any visible movement. Long before modern thermodynamics, Vikings understood that ground contact kills faster than cold air. Face and skin concealment was practical, not theatrical. Bare skin stands out violently against snow. Vikings wrapped faces in wool, raised fur collars, and used hoods to break facial outlines. Beards, often frost-coated naturally, further reduced recognition. There is evidence of soot, ash, and animal fat being applied to exposed skin to reduce shine and protect against windburn. This also darkened the skin slightly, preventing stark contrast against pale surroundings. The principle still holds. Exposed skin reflects light differently than fabric, and in winter concealment, covering skin is non-negotiable. Viking snow camouflage worked because it was a system. Clothing, movement, terrain use, and environmental manipulation all reinforced each other. Remove one element, and the system weakens. This is why these techniques remain relevant today. They don't rely on technology. They rely on observation, discipline, and understanding how humans appear in winter landscapes. Snow still reflects light. Wind still erases tracks. Cold still punishes the careless. The Vikings weren't mythical because they survived. They survived because they adapted intelligently. If you care about real history, real fieldcraft, and lessons that still work, subscribe to Warfront Survival, share this video, and stay sharp. History rewards those who pay attention.